Hello students, this is lesson 4 for the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variations. And in today's video, I am going to discuss about the Mendel's Principles of Inheritance or Laws of Inheritance. Now, based on the observations of Mendel's monohybrid and dihybrid crosses during his experiment, Mendel found some results, and those results he put forward as his conclusion by certain laws which are called as laws of inheritance. So he was the first person to give some idea about the inheritance of characters from one generation into the other. In that, he emphasized on certain controlling factors which were later called as Mendelian factors, or the term alleles was given. And these alleles, they are responsible for the transmission of characters from one generation into the other. So in the previous classes, we have already studied about the alleles or the factors which are present on the chromosome and what are its true bases. Now let's discuss about the laws of inheritance. The first law is the law of dominance or principle of dominance. According to this law, in heterozygous individuals, a character is represented by two contrasting factors, that is called as alleles, and out of the two, only one is able to express its effects in the individual. It is called dominant alleles, and the other allele which does not show its effect in the heterozygous individual is called the recessive allele. Now let's try to understand what does the law says. According to him, or according to the crosses that he made, so let's understand this with the help of the monohybrid cross. Mendel took two homozygous parents with the genotype capital T and small t. Those condition it was homozygous. That means both the parents, they contributed the capital T for the tall plant and small t for the dwarf plant. And in that case, all the gametes, they will possess the same type of allele for the character of stem height. But when the tall plant and the dwarf plant, they were crossed artificially by the method of emasculation and cross-pollination, the resultant generation, which is called as the F1 generation or hybrid plants, they were all tall plants. Now how that happened? Because the capital T from the tall parent and the small t from the dwarf parent, they came and got fused in the zygote. But there was the dominant allele, which is capital T, and this capital T, it expressed, and therefore Mendel found all the plants to be tall. That means his hybrid plants, they were all tall for the F1 generation. Now, as this hybrid plant, it possesses two different alleles, that is capital T and small t. For the same character, Mendel, he allowed self-pollination in the plants and collected the seeds for the F2 generation from those hybrid plants. He again showed the seeds of the hybrid plant and yielded the F2 generation. But in his F2 generation, he got the result as in the ratio of 3:1. That means 3 parts of the individuals, they were tall, and the 1 part of those individuals, they became dwarf. Now the reason behind that is that when these two recessive allele, as this recessive allele small t, it was not expressive with the dominant allele in the F1 generation. But when these two recessive alleles, they came together in the next generation, they became expressive again, that is small t, small t. But when small t, it is present with the capital T, it is always that the capital T that expresses its character. That means the capital T, that is the dominant allele or dominant factor, and small t, that is the recessive factor. But if small t, that is the recessive allele, as we are considering that as the recessive allele, when small t, they comes together, but at that point it expresses its own character. Therefore, according to the monohybrid cross and the monohybrid ratio, that was the result of the monohybrid cross, Mendel got the ratio of 3:1 in the F2 generation. So in that, Mendel proved that there are some factors that controls these characters, and when these characters, they are in heterozygous form. Heterozygous form, it was found firstly during the F1 generation. So in its heterozygous form, the one which expresses its character, that is called as the dominant allele, and the one which cannot express its character, that is only called as the recessive allele. Now the significance of this law of dominance is that it explains that why individuals of F1 generation express a trait of only one parent, and the reason behind that is that it possesses, or that particular gene, it is more powerful than that of the other gene or allele, and we can say that it is, or we can say that it is superior to the other allele. So this is all about the law of dominance, which can be expressed or which can be understood with the help of the monohybrid cross. Now let's come to the second law, that is law of segregation. This law states that when any of the characters of the parents remains suppressed in F1 generation, it gets expressed in the F2 generation. This means that the contrasting alleles does not blend or affect each other while they are together in the hybrid in F1 generation or in subsequent generations. Now let's again try to understand this law with the help of the monohybrid cross. Now, as you know that what is this monohybrid cross? So same again, the parents with the genotype capital T for tallness and small t for dwarfness, they were allowed cross pollination, which is by the method of emasculation during the artificial hybridization method. In case of both the parents, they produced the gametes. As tall plant, this was homozygous, therefore the gametes that the tall plant produced were with the allele capital T. As we know that the gametes, they bear only haploid set of chromosomes, and small t, that is for the dwarf parent. In case of that, all the gametes, they were with the allele small t, as all the gametes, they will possess the same because of the homozygous condition. But when these two plants, they were crossed there in the F1 generation. Capital T, small t, that was the outcome of the whole cross. And in this case, in the F1 generation, it showed the phenotype of tall again. Now, why it is tall? That we know it from the law of dominance. That is because of the capital T allele, which is the dominant one. And this capital T allele had suppressed the small t allele. And therefore, the tallness, it was expressed in case of the F1 generation plants or the hybrid plants. Now, when Mendel, he allowed self-pollination in the hybrid plants, in the second generation, when it was seen that 3 parts of the offsprings or the 3 parts of the F2 generation, they became tall again, and the one part, it became the dwarf plants again. Now, according to the law of segregation, it says that when any of the characters of the parents remain suppressed in the F1 generation, here small t, it was suppressed in the F1 generation because capital T expressed and small t, it got suppressed. That means it didn't show its character. The plants, they did not become dwarf plants. It was capital T that expressed. So, here in case, according to the first line of this statement, that this law states that any of the characters of the parents remain suppressed in F1 generation, it gets expressed in the F2 generation. So, let's come to the F2 generation. In case of the F2 generation, small t, that is the dwarf parent that expressed its character. This means that the small t, it did not blend with the capital T, or capital T, it did not blend with the small t, and they gave an intermediate height. Capital T, it was obviously, it will be tall. Capital T, small t, as capital T, it is present there, so it will be tall. Capital T, small t, as capital T is present there, it will be tall. But in case of the small t in the F1, F2 generation, so that get expressed again. That means during the formation of the gamete in the F1 generation, these two alleles, they segregated in different gametes. This is what this law says, that the alleles, they get segregated in F2 generation, and when again two recessive alleles, they come together, they expresses its character independently. The law of segregation, that is also called therefore as the law of purity of gametes. So this happens because in the F1 generation, though the individual, it had capital T, small t, or two different type of alleles for the same character, but these two genes responsible for these two different traits of a character, that is tallness and dwarfness, that's segregated or divided in pure form and passed on to the different gametes from the F1 generation, and that resulted into the F2 generation. Therefore, with the help of this Punnett square, we try to express that if the gamete possessing capital T fuses with the gamete possessing capital T from both the parents, then it results into capital T, small t. Similarly, capital T, small t. So all these haploid or single t, capital T and the single small t, so these are the gametes. And with the help of this Punnett square, it is shown that what could be the outcome of the fusion of these two types of gametes. And in that, Mendel, he found the monohybrid ratio. So therefore, the law of segregation, it is also called as the law of purity of gametes. That is because that there is no blending of the characters in the F1 generation, and they segregated independently in its pure form and passed on to the different gametes, resulting into the F2 generation. Now let's come to the law of independent assortment. The law of independent assortment, it states that when two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of character is independent of the other pair of characters. So according to this law, the two factors of each character, because for the law of independent assortment, Mendel tried the dihybrid cross. So this is also called to be the inheritance of two genes. Here Mendel tried to illustrate the experiment with the help of two genes. That means he considered two genes together while performing the experiment. And therefore, according to this law, it is said that the two factors of each character, assort or separate, assort, that means separate, independently of the factors of the other characters at the time of gamete formation, and gets randomly rearranged in the offspring, producing both parental and new combinations of traits. We will come to this statement again, but let's try to understand it with the help of the dihybrid cross. In the dihybrid cross experiment, the pure breeding variety of pea plant, it was taken, and here the phenotypes are yellow and round seed. Yellow, that is the color of the cotyledon, and round, that is the shape of the seed, and green and wrinkled seeds, that is green, that is the color of the cotyledon, and wrinkled, that is the shape of the cotyledon, and they have the genotype of capital Y, capital Y, capital R, small y, small r, small r. Now these two parents, they are pure line, that means they are homozygous, as you can see. These two parents, they bears gametes in the form of capital Y, capital R in case of the dominant homozygous parent, and small y, small r in the recessive homozygous parent. And if you ask why, that is because that during meiosis cell division, only half the number of chromosome it comes to one gamete. So all the gametes, as both the parents they were homozygous, all the gametes they will bear the same type of gametes, that is capital Y, capital R in case of round and yellow, and small y, small r in case of green and wrinkled. Now when these two gametes they were fused with each other with the same process of artificial hybridization, it yielded the F1 generation, which were all round and yellow, and their genotype, it was capital Y, capital R, small r. So this is same in case of the monohybrid cross, but here two characters are taken in the same time. Law of dominance is applicable here. Again, law of segregation is applicable here. Now let's come to the law of independent assortment from this F1 generation. The law of independent assortment, it says that when two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid parent. Here the hybrid parent, now that is capital Y, capital R, small r, that is the yellow and round parent, hybrid plant. Now it bears two pairs of traits in one parent, and according to the law of independence, it is said that the gametes they segregated independently with the other pairs of characters. The segregation of one pair of characters is independent of the other pair of characters, and that is why in the F1 generation 4 types of gametes were formed. As you can see, the 4 types of gametes, these are capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, small y, capital R, and small y, small r. So this happened because these alleles, they independently got assorted that means separated during the formation of gametes in the hybrid parent, and therefore 4 types of gamete it was formed. Now this hybrid plant, they were again allowed self-pollination, and during this self-pollination stage different gametes, they fused with each other independently among these 4 types of gametes in both the parent, and it resulted into F2 generation. And Mendel observed that in F2 generation many other new combinations were found. So let's come to the F2 generation now. For the F2 generation, let's try to understand again with the help of the Punnett square. Here the gametes, they are written on both sides of the boxes. As you can see, that is capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, capital Y, small y, small r. So that you can see on both the sides of the box. So this represents one male gamete and the another one, that is the female gamete. Now when capital Y, capital R, it fuses with capital Y, capital R, that results into capital Y, capital Y, capital R, capital R. Similarly, capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, that resulted into the fusion of capital Y, capital R, small r. Then comes capital Y, capital R, small r, so that resulted into capital Y, small y, capital R, capital R. Then capital Y, capital R, small y, small r, that resulted into the genotype capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. So again let's come to the second box. So this was on from both the sides, top and bottom. So this was for the first box. Now let's come to from the vertical row, let's come to the second one now. So capital Y, small r, capital Y, capital R. So that's capital Y, capital R, small r. Similarly, we get capital Y, small r, capital Y, small r. So that resulted into capital Y, small r, small r. Then comes capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. Again capital Y, small r, small r. So in that way, again come to the third box vertically and the first box. So small y, capital R, capital Y, capital R. So that result into capital Y, small y, capital R, capital R. Then small y, capital R, capital Y, small r. So that resulted into capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. Similarly, small y, capital R, small y, y, capital R, small r. Again, fourth box and the first box. So small y, small r, capital Y, capital R. So that resulted into capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. Capital Y, small y, small r, small r. Small y, capital R, small r. And the last box that became small y, small r, small r. So this is the occurrence of 4 different types of gametes, and for the fusion of this 4 different types of gametes from both the parent, that is the male parent and the female parent. So it resulted into 16 types of individuals. So that means from the parental one, now we have some new combinations in the F2 generation. And this happened all because of the independent assortment of the alleles during the formation of the gamete and the independent assortment of the fusion of gametes. So that is why it is said that, let's come to the statement again, that when two pairs of characters are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of character is independent of the other pair of character. Otherwise, we can keep in mind in this way also that the two factors of each character assert or separate independent of the factors of other character at the time of gamete formation and gets randomly rearranged. That, as you can see in the F2 generation, it got rearranged in the offsprings, producing both parental and new combinations of the traits. As you can see here, that the parental combination, it was only capital Y, capital R, and small y, small r, smaller. But here, some new combinations also happened apart from the hybrid genotype. So these are the genotypes of the offsprings for the F2 generation. Now let's conclude the law of independent assortment with the help of the dihybrid cross ratio. So because of the law of independent assortment that took place with the different types of alleles from the F1 generation, which resulted into 4 different types of gametes, Mendel obtained the dihybrid cross ratio as 9:3:3:1, where, as you can see, the different genotypes they were formed. In that, 4 types of individuals were found in the F2 generation, out of which 2 types they were of the parental type, that is yellow and round and green and wrinkled. But the genotypes for them were quite different, and 2 new combinations it was found, and these 2 new combinations are yellow and wrinkled seeds and round and green seeds. In this way, the genotypic ratio of the dihybrid cross, that is also different. Now let's work out the genotypic ratio. The genotypic ratio of the dihybrid cross is 1:4:2:2:1:2:1:1. So that you can check it in the Punnett square. So this is all about the dihybrid cross and the independent assortment. And in today's class, we discussed about the 3 principles of Mendel, or that is also called as the laws of inheritance. And this was done with the help of the monohybrid and the dihybrid cross. So I hope you understood the laws, and you have any doubt, then please try to clarify those doubts. Thank you.